In the world of currency wars, there are team comps that stand above the rest of the competition. They transcend difficulty level and for the most part account investment. I mean, you can even run them with trial characters, and one of those team comps is Durian Phainon. Now, I don't know the deep Phainon lore, so I'm not sure if he's ever even seen a Durian, but truth be told, Phainon isn't really the focal point for this team comp anyways. He's actually more of a vehicle, a fruit truck to be specific, set to deliver delicious damage reflection from your shields to the enemy's door. So in today's video, I want to break down what the Durian Phainon team comp is and explain the ins and outs of how to get it set up so that you can sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay, that's the last fruit pun. To start, what is the Durian Phainon team comp? Well, like I previously mentioned, the strat this time around revolves around having Phainon carry the core of the team, the Chassis of Retribution. This item gives its holder damage mitigation, a 300% defense shield, and most importantly, causes enemies who hit the holder to take damage back for 250% of its holder's total shield before they were attacked. Although this effect can't actually defeat enemies, it can stack, causing enemies to basically kill themselves by trying to attack you. Furthermore, it's also important to note that the damage reflection scales off of the shield of its wearer, not how much damage the enemy is doing, so damage mitigation is key. Because the crux of this strat revolves around beefing up your shield strength to have the enemies kill themselves, your team synergies revolve around supporting your shield strength with the shield synergy, and then utilizing supports that can provide damage amplification and mitigation. Phainon himself exists as the core unit of the team comp for two reasons. One, his special bond deliverer means that he can adopt the activated bonds from your on-field units, allowing him to become a shield unit. And then two, when his ult is activated, he becomes the sole unit on your side of the field and can taunt and mitigate damage, thus enabling the maximum chassis damage reflection output while also maintaining the maximum amount of shield effectiveness. For the team comp members, the rest of this team's units are relatively self-explanatory. You'll need to activate the 4 shield synergy as soon as possible through March 7th, Shield Dan Heng, Aventurine, and Japard. From there, you'll have Sampo off-field to provide more damage mitigation through the Galactic Voyager trait. Then you'll have the combination of Remembrance MC and Robin for support, with Remembrance MC being replaced by Cyrene on-field when you get her. Lastly, you'll have Yunli who's there to also help reduce the damage your chassis shield takes with her damage reduction talent. Some potential flex units also include supports like Sunday and Seredra if you're having difficulty finding any of the aforementioned units. Then, in terms of items, obviously you'll want to prioritize getting your 3 Chassis of Retribution online as soon as possible. This means you'll need at least 3 batch-produced armors and 3 lucky stars. It's worth mentioning that for Cyrene, you'll also want 1 perpetual engine in order to have access to Phainon's ult on turn 1. So that means you'll also want 2 photon cells. From there, other advanced items worth making include the Bastion Projector for more maximum shield, Weapon Masters for increased damage, Planetary Drills to apply fragility, Confidence Injectors for more on-field strength and damage mitigation, and if you choose to play this comp into enemies that delay your actions, you'll want to invest in building a photon shield so you don't end up the one getting cheesed. Moving on, getting set up with the ideal investment environments and strategies for the Durian Phainon comp is, as you might expect, particularly item dependent. As such, environments and strategies that provide items are especially helpful. Some examples for investment environments are the scent of gunpowder to give you more items and economic overheat for more rewards from the reward nodes. That being said, this one gets kind of awkward in higher difficulties and in planes 2 and 3 as you don't have a real damage dealer to kill the warp trotters, but you can oftentimes at least kill a couple, so it's worth mentioning. And then, some examples for investment strategies include free market and IPC restock gold. The latter is particularly ideal in essentially allowing you to reroll basic items that you don't want to hopefully get ones you do. Just remember to place items you want to keep on your units so they don't get rerolled away. The investment strategy of batch-produced armored blessing is also usable as you utilize a large number of batch-produced armors for this team comp, and the extra damage mitigation is an added bonus. Lastly, as a reminder, these are just some examples of investment environments and strategies for this comp. There are definitely more that are usable than just the ones I listed, but I wanted to give you these examples so you can have an idea of which ones will be useful for you in running this comp. So how do you actually get the ball rolling for this team comp? Well, early on, I've preferred playing a combination of a damage over time transitional team, utilizing units like Sampo and Kafka, while also incorporating any early shield units that I found like March 7th, Aventurine, or Shield Dan Heng. Another option if you hit a couple of early Chassis of Retributions is to run something like a solo on-field Aventurine while placing your damage over time units off-field alongside March and or Shield Dan Heng. This lets you reliably trigger the Chassis damage while Sampo enables enables the damage over time bond to still deal some damage to help you get through that first plane. That being said, whichever units you use to start off your run, econ-wise, you'll be aiming to hit level 7 with 50 gold as soon as possible. So I wouldn't advise using any gold to reroll until you get to that point, but I would pick up any pieces of the comp offered in the shop along the way if they come naturally. Once you hit level 7, you should aim to hit 4 shield and be relatively close to 3-star Phainon by the end of plane 2. Splashing in whichever support units you've happened to come across during your rerolls, with priority going to Remembrance MC and Sampo over units like Sunday and Robin, the latter due to how long it can take her to cast her ult without items. If you start getting near the end of plane 2 and you haven't found your part yet, it may be also worth considering leveling to 8 to increase your odds of finding him. Then, as you approach the end of plane 3, you'll be aiming for level 9 to get a support Sareen equipped with a perpetual engine to allow your Phainon to have his ult immediately ready. If possible, you'll also want to have a Yunli on your team to greatly minimize the damage your Phainon's shield will take, maximizing the damage reflection from your chassis. She also helps finish off enemies after they've had their damage reflected. Now, some final tips for running the comp from my experiences playing it. Early game, a March 7th skill is going to be one of your main batteries for charging Phainon's ult. As such, you'll want to try and position him next to whomever she tends to target for her skill. For me, she seemed to prioritize whomever had the least stars, so I had better luck putting them in the left corner, and then sandwiching Phainon between them and one of the other units. Furthermore, there are certain enemy and boss matchups that are kind of awkward for this comp. The streetlight enemies are practically impossible to defeat due to how damage reflect works when they bury themselves. Then, some of the Penacony enemies like the dome screens and the banana office staff boss are also pretty tricky due to how they can sometimes just not attack you. So if you see them on the preview, just know you might be in for a rough time. Because of enemies like these, I also don't normally end runs on the comp with a lot of leftover health, since the mid-game can get kind of weird if you don't hit the right items or units. However, I have still been consistently clearing at the Wealth Creator difficulty with just the Trial Phainon. So if you haven't, I definitely recommend at least trying this comp out. And that about does it for today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more Currency War and Honkai Star Rail videos. Let me know what team comps have been your favorite to run in the comments. And most importantly, have a blessed day.